No, I don't think Harry and Meghan expected the US to pay for their security bill. At the same time, the intervention from Donald Trump will not be welcome because it's an immediate, I don't really want you here, right in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. Of course, in his tweet, he couldn't have been any clearer. They must pay. Now, clearly, the big question for British citizens, UK taxpayers and the government is, should we be paying? Because right now, while the US has said it won't pay, and while Canada and their Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made clear that the Canadian government would not pay for security costs, that's not the case with Boris Johnson and the UK government. As far as I am aware, at the moment, we still pay for Harry and Meghan's security. There was reason for President Trump to be pretty angry at Harry and Meghan. They already had a pretty terrible relationship. Meghan had slagged him off before she became a member of the royal family. Then there was all of the awkwardness when she didn't attend the state dinner with President Trump, and Prince Harry did go to meet him but sort of was a bit standoffish. But of course, relations sunk to an all-time low when the Russian pranksters managed to catch Harry out by pretending that they were Greta Thunberg, the Swedish environmental climate change activist. And in that phone conversation, Harry said numerous things which were pretty uncomfortable, given that he thought he was having a private conversation with Greta Thunberg. But one of those things was to accuse Donald Trump of having had blood on his hands in regards to his environmental policies. So you just know Donald Trump is very well aware of that phone conversation and of that video, which was leaked on YouTube. And so the moment that The Sun and myself broke the story last week that Megxit too was going to see Harry and Meghan in California, that it was only a matter of time before he commented publicly. Of course, COVID-19, which is an international crisis, has not been good for their new plans. Meghan was significantly criticised last week for pressing ahead with all of the press around her new Disney Plus film, which she narrates. It's about elephants. You probably remember that quite uncomfortable moment at the Lion King premiere last year when Prince Harry was touting Meghan for business with the chief executive of Disney at the time, Bob Iger. They still went ahead with that release even in the midst of COVID-19, lots of people questioning that.
Elephant, narrated by Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, follows one family's extraordinary 1,000-mile journey across Africa on an adventure that will change their lives.
And then also this week, we're expecting the announcement of Harry and Meghan's new foundation, because remember, they officially leave the royal family on the 31st of March. But again, in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, lots of commentators wondering if it's appropriate for them to talk about their new lives right now at all. I can tell you that within the royal family, there is serious disappointment about this decision for Harry and Meghan to go from Canada to Los Angeles, rather than, at least during this crisis period, move back to Frogmore Cottage at Windsor, which, remember, is a perfectly functional, luxurious mansion, which we just spent millions of pounds doing up, and they could easily have been there just a stone's throw away from the Queen and Prince Philip, who are self-isolating at Windsor Castle. I think it was particularly shocking to those within the royal family that Harry and Meghan didn't return to the UK after Prince Charles was struck down by COVID-19 as well. Remember, it puts a lot of pressure on Prince William and Kate, because right now the other senior members of the royal family are out of action. You've got the Queen and Prince Philip self-isolating, both in their 90s, serious concerns about their health. You have Prince Charles struck down with coronavirus. He is self-isolating in Scotland with Camilla. No sense that they will return to public duties at any time soon. And you have Prince Andrew entirely out of action because of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal that saw the Queen force him to stand down as a senior royal last year. So you have all of that combination of extraordinary events, and Harry and Meghan really could have helped the Queen at this stage. And actually, I was pretty shocked, because for me, I thought this was a really obvious PR victory for the Sussexes. They've obviously had a lot of criticism over the past 6 months, but I think the British public really would have warmed to a decision that saw them at least temporarily put their plans on hold. No one's saying put it off for good. Everyone understands they're sick of this country, they don't want to be here, they don't want to deal with the media, they don't want to deal with the rest of the royal family. But these are unprecedented times right now. We are dealing with a crisis of historic proportions. And I think even if it was just for a matter of 3 to 6 months, having Harry and Meghan back in the country would have meant a lot to the royal family.